shall we start?
Absolutely, yes.
Well, then, James, thank you for accepting my invitation for this short interview, short conversation. You just heard about it like today, but I hope you will watch the 20 something that I did like really soon. And we found each other in Linz,
Yes.
all the places. And
Yes.
it's so good to see you, but I mean, it's so good to see you with all your Linz stories as well.
Yeah, yeah. Good to see you as well, Alan. Thank you so much.
So yeah, with that, I just want to set up a timer for 15 minutes, have a conversation, quick one, and once the time runs out, we can say thank you and go watch some like Mad Talks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we only see each other in conferences almost. Like, what do you think about like the value of conferences for the community?
That's a great question. Yeah, so we're here in Linz. We've both flown from other places to be here.
Yeah.
And conferences are extremely important because we get to collaborate, we get to talk. There have been many experiences in my life where I go to a conference, I give my talk, I go to other people's talks, and it sparks some sort of new question, new idea. And even here this week, we have new ideas that have come up now between you and me and a few other people. Potentially, it could mean new publications, it could mean new ideas that get written. So I think they're extremely important. And that's why I took the time to fly here from the United States.
From Duluth,
Yeah, from Duluth, Minnesota, yeah. To be with people like you and other collaborators. So I think it's a great opportunity to get away from the busyness of the work that we normally do on a day-to-day basis and just take a break and try to concentrate on some of the mathematics that we're doing.
Yeah, and you do a lot of, I mean, administrative work as well. Like not maybe these days, but I mean, you have done a lot of administrative work, so you know how difficult it can be. I'm recently experiencing this with the graduate coordinator position. But how do you, like, maybe I can just jump into that and I say, how do you balance like the research time and the administrative time? Because you were always active in research, but I knew you were the department chair and a lot of other things.
Right, yeah. So when I was in Penn State, I was the director of the undergraduate mathematics program. I did that for 18 years.
And how many undergrads does the math department have?
Oh gosh. We were, by the time I left, we probably had 150 majors graduating with a bachelor's degree every year.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of work. I had a very good staff and an excellent set of advisors as well for the students. So I wasn't handling all of the work for all of those students. So there was a bit of need as an administrator to be organized and whatnot, but part of it was just having fantastic people to work with. And they did a great job while I was there. I was very, very appreciative. How to balance the research time and the administrative time. I'm probably not the right person to ask. There were nights when I was working late, that kind of thing. But I was also trying to pocket things. So if I knew that 1 month I was going to be very busy with administration, then I would put the research aside. But then if there was another month or another week when it might be a little lighter, then I would push harder on the research. It was just a matter of balancing or choosing when I could do each thing. But yeah, I enjoyed trying to balance that when I was younger. Now that I'm a bit older, I'm actually a bit happier not to be trying to do all that administration now. Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, I like the administrative role that I have, and I'm glad that I'm helping the department, but I sometimes feel like maybe you'll also say the same thing. Sometimes it feels like that it will take the amount of time that I put in it, regardless if it is like too much or too little. However much time I put in the administrative work, it would just like take up the space.
Right.
So there definitely needs to find some boundaries.
Sure, I agree. I'm not so sure that I found the right boundaries, but certainly one can use up every waking moment of the day doing administrative work. I will say that I really enjoyed doing it while I enjoyed doing it. For many years, I enjoyed the work. It was a great service to the department. I think you could ask my faculty colleagues and they would say, yes, we were very glad that James was there doing that.
So because doing it.
Yeah, well, it allowed them not to have to put in that time. And so as long as they had someone, hopefully that they viewed as capable of doing it, then it helped them. So I think in that sense, I was doing the department a service. I was certainly doing the students a service because they were having their needs met with advising and these kinds of things. There were also a lot of administrative details just around the organizing of the courses and just a lot of details behind the scenes. Those also helped to make lots of people's lives better. So in that sense, I was always very happy to do the job. I think it was a great service. Um, it's work though. I mean, it is work and it does take time and it takes energy. And so it's not for everyone. And that's fine. I mean, we're all wired differently and that's fine. But I was very glad that I could especially spend that time at Penn State. It was a very, very busy time, but I was also around very good people.
Mhm.
Not only the staff that I worked with, but also having faculty colleagues, in my case, people like George Andrews and Ezai, with whom I could talk about mathematics when I had a free moment. And I did, I had free moments. And so they were very kind to talk with me about research. Weekly seminars in partition theory and number theory, those also helped to generate extra energy and spark towards the research side. Because I could say in a way that I could justify, okay, I have to put the administrative side now aside. I now go to this 1 hour seminar and it allowed me to get that energy that way.
And
as
at
well.
least like stay like connected with
Yeah.
the community and like the trends and everything.
Absolutely, and keep active, and those colleagues were very kind to me. They knew I was busy doing other things as well, but they allowed me to be part of that community, and that was extremely beneficial.
Yeah. I feel the same way for building Keith's partition seminar, to be honest. I cannot join the seminar, but I watch the videos.
Yeah.
And it really helped me to stay connected with what is going on.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean, he did a great job.
Oh, I will say that I think that, I think what William has done has been pivotal, vital for people in our community, actually around the world. You know, I know people in parts of the world where they just don't have anyone
Yeah.
working in the same area of Q series partitions within hundreds of miles.
Yeah.
And so the ability to either log in while it's live or to watch the videos later on, as you described, I think has been crucial for a lot of people. And it has, again, generated ideas, brought together collaborations that wouldn't have been brought together
Mhm.
otherwise. It was a wonderful thing to have during COVID,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I think a lot of us felt isolated anyway. But even now, post-COVID, it still feels like a wonderful way to just see people from across the globe. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, going back to you. So, it was a surprise to me that you decided to move from Penn State to Toulouse.
Yes.
And like you took the department chair position.
Yes.
So maybe it's controversial to ask, but I mean, which one did you prefer at the end of it? So did you prefer like the undergrad coordinator or like department chair? Like where
Oh.
you need to deal with the undergrads and the faculty?
Yeah, this is a good question. I'm not sure I can answer that very easily. I was chair of the department at Duluth for 2 years. I enjoyed moving to Duluth, to University of Minnesota Duluth for many reasons, personal reasons, family reasons. Also, it was a smaller institute. It is a smaller institution, and they value very clearly the balance between teaching and research, which I appreciated.
Ah.
And so for me, there was benefit to going. But on the other hand, from a research perspective, it isolated me. I no longer had my
Oh, I see.
colleagues like George Andrews and Ezai, with whom I could simply meet in their office at moment's notice. So I did feel a bit isolated that way. I also went there right before COVID. Of course, we didn't know COVID was going to happen, but I got there in August of 2019.
Wow.
And so being the department head during COVID is even more difficult and more time consuming than it would have been otherwise. So it's hard for me to compare. But I'm very glad to be at UMD now. You know, I'm part of the faculty. I'm doing my teaching. I'm doing my research, master's student advising. So it's a great place, and my wife is very happy there. She has family there.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's a great place. But I miss my friends and my colleagues at Penn State, obviously.
Thankfully, there are like these conferences in the name of George, like Bruce, like quite regularly nowadays, so we
Right.
get to see them.
I still get to see them, and of course, we have Zoom, we can do these kinds of things
Yeah.
as well. But it is something that I miss, being there. I'm
Yeah.
also an alumnus of Penn State,
Mhm.
so,
Oh.
you know,
I didn't know.
there's a lot of connection for me there. But yeah, it's nice to be in Duluth, even in the winters. It's an okay place to be.
So speaking of service, I also know that you were the secretary for MAA for a
Yes.
while. I don't know for how long.
Right, yeah.
But may I ask you about that? You
Sure.
did a lot of service to the white community.
Right, yeah.
May I first ask you the difference between AMS and MAA? I think I know, but joint math meetings happen like together with all the groups, so I don't really have the full separation in my head.
Yeah, so this is a good question. I'm not so sure that there's an absolute answer to that question. Certainly there is gravitation, let me use that language.
Okay.
The AMS, people gravitate to the AMS, not always, but often because they're active in research and they're interested in mathematical research. And generally speaking, people who gravitate to the MAA are looking for maybe more conversations about teaching, pedagogy, and so on. Although there are people going to the AMS who are interested in teaching and so on, and there are people going to the MAA who are research active and so on. So it's not an automatic, delineation or division between the two. One of the things I like about the MAA, and I'm a member of both, I'm a member of the AMS and the MAA, but one of the things I like about the MAA, and I've spent more of my time there, is that it really feels like a community where I can comfortably talk about either teaching or research. And often I end up talking with a lot of people there about teaching and service and so on. So yeah, I'm not sure that there's a true definition of the difference, but I do think that's how they sort of play out for a lot of people. I think both organizations are serving the mathematical sciences community in a great way.
I think so.
Yeah, just in slightly different ways. But you know, they're intertwined as well. For example, now MAA Press is really underneath, in some sense, the AMS publications.
I didn't know.
Yeah, and so in some ways the lines get blurred between the two to a degree. So anyway, yeah, I think highly of both organizations, but I must admit I've spent more of my time serving inside the MAA than I have the AMS.
And so, well, one thing I should say is that MAA Mathematical Monthly is amazing. It's a great journal. The articles are like really well written, really like nice for anyone to read. I really enjoy them reading some articles about like completely different topics that my research interests in that before.
Yeah.
The problems I also like, and sometimes it's just like frustrating when I can't solve them, you know. But so they definitely publish a lot of research as well in that sense. And I say high quality, well written research.
Yes. So the monthly, of course, was the historical reason that the MAA began. In fact, the publication of the monthly. They also publish the Mathematics Magazine and the College Math Journal. And all three of those actually contain some level of mathematical research. But the ultimate goal is the strength of